If these students seem a bit old for their tasks, it's because none of them had ever set foot in a school until this one opened 2 years ago. The kids come from generations of illiterate and poor garbage collectors.
This is how we learn numbers. These are ones, so there's 10 of those in this. It's complicated if you don't touch, you feel. That's what Maria Montessori taught us. Concepts, math concepts.
Social entrepreneur Laila Iskander has taken it on herself to change the world of those who live in Medina Zabalin, literally Trash City, on the outskirts of Cairo. For decades, the collectors, also called Zabalin, have hauled home what the people of Cairo threw away. 80% of it was recycled and sold, with organic waste fed to pigs owned by the Zabalin. Pigs are considered unclean in this largely Muslim nation, but the Zabalin are Christians. Their garbage collection methods earn them little money and even less respect.
They're perceived to be dirty. They don't wear a clean uniform. They don't really wash their trucks. They used to raise pigs, and that's not a very clean enterprise.
A decade ago, the government tried to modernize waste management by hiring European firms to handle the trash in major cities. But Cairo's 17 million inhabitants, who produce 13,000 tons of garbage every day, were accustomed to door-to-door pickup by the Zabalin. Iskander says they didn't take easily to sorting, recycling, and carrying trash to bins. The multinationals also found it hard to hire workers, especially the historically self-employed Zabalin.
They refused. They said, we are entrepreneurs and we are recyclers. Do you really think we enjoy going out and handling this dirt just because we love dirt? You know? So anyway, they tried to hire others. But there's a stigma to the trade. It's not such a pleasant thing to do. And they couldn't retain their labor.
Finally, Iskander says the multinationals and Zabalin made an informal arrangement, allowing these traditional collectors again to work door-to-door in some neighborhoods. But last year the Zabalin were dealt a huge setback. In 2009, the Egyptian government, responding to the swine flu epidemic, ordered all pigs killed in the country. Some 300,000 of the animals were culled. The move did nothing to contain swine flu. It did make people appreciate just how much organic waste the animals consumed. The pigs kept the city of Cairo clean. For the Zabalin, farming pigs was a source of both income and protein. With no pigs to feed, they had no reason to pick up organic waste. Tons of it is now strewn along streets and in overflowing bins. Neither goats nor the methods of rich countries, where trash is separated by households and dumped in large landfills, have worked here, says Iskander.
You can't copy-paste systems that work in the north in the south. It doesn't work, and it was not smart in the first place.
She thinks the solution lies in a more educated and competitive generation of garbage collectors who learn a uniquely tailored vocabulary in the school.
Hurt plus, Pantene, Head and Shoulders. These are the first words we learn in our literacy class.
Hurt plus, Pantene, and Head and Shoulders because their maker, Procter & Gamble, pays a few cents for every container that's recycled. The company's anxious to keep them from being refilled and sold by counterfeiters. The literacy taught here is practical, learning to read city maps, spreadsheets, to negotiate for a better contract, whether with municipalities or multinational companies.
In 2015 or 2017, when the other contracts are up for negotiation, or we hope end, these guys here will be ready to renegotiate. Contracts are part of the curriculum.
Even as she tries to improve the lot of garbage collectors, Iskander wants to raise public awareness of the growing garbage crisis and the need for recycling. It's a crisis not just in cities, but also rural areas, like the Sinai Peninsula. Here, she's worked with another social entrepreneur, Sharif El Gamrawi. Gamrawi started the first eco-lodge along this coast in the 1980s. Everything from food to furniture is recyclable or recycled. But with the growth of tourism came another opportunity.
After I saw how the development is going on in this area, and a lot of hotels started coming up, and little camps, so the trash was all over.
With Iskander's help, he designed a recycling program and signed agreements with the surrounding towns, and especially the area's large hotels and resorts, to handle their refuse. Organic or food waste is given to the livestock of Bedouin herders native to this desert region. Plastics and so-called inorganic materials go to a transfer center set up by Gamrawi's organization, Himaya, or Protection in Arabic.
We can see that we work in a touristic area with a lot of alcohol.
Glass bottles of every color and shape, cardboard and paper and plastics, destined for a variety of recycled uses.
This is the anti-shock that is used for shoe soles and also hair for the ladies, you know, the hair climber.
Oh. Hair rollers?
Yeah.
What would happen before you came here?
If it's not very well organized, everyone is collecting his own waste and threw it somewhere in the desert. The plastic bags, they fly into the sea and kill the corals or kill the fish.
Gamrawi's project has turned much of that debris into profit, exporting materials like plastic to China.
Because it's a very, very expensive material. It came actually, we used to sell it for about 3,000 pounds. That makes about $600 per ton.
About 100 young men work for him. Most of them are migrants from the impoverished regions of Upper Egypt.
We came to make a living. There are no jobs. The economy is very depressed in Upper Egypt. We don't mind doing this. It beats working for the government or a city job.
Their pay, including a share of the revenue from selling the plastic, is about $200 a month, a decent wage by local standards. Much of it is sent back home to their families.
So they couldn't earn this kind of money doing anything else here
No.
with their skill level?
No. Some university graduates, they wouldn't earn as much money as this here.
Back in Medina Zabalin, Laila Iskander hopes her students can do even better. Among her stars is Musa Nazmi. At 24, he started his own business, granulating plastic that will eventually be exported to China.
At a most basic level, I learned Arabic literacy. If I go to do a trade, I can definitely record it in words. I also learned new recycling methods because it was different from what my father was doing.
He's in the first 44 who have graduated from the recycling school, the very first person in his family ever to read. For Iskander, it's the first step in bringing respect for him and for a trade that she says will be critical if developing countries like Egypt are to sustain healthy economic growth.